Hello and welcome to the video tutorial for Manage Personal Work Priorities and Professional Development. This tutorial is going to have a look at time management and prioritization of work. So I guess when you ask people, are you good at time management? The response will either be yes or no. But in fact, it's probably not as black and white as that. I think everyone has things that they are very good at managing their time with and things that maybe they don't manage their time so with, and that can really come down to your own personal likes and dislikes, and also personal skills and personal abilities. So in this, we want to really look to see how do we maximize our time. I think for a lot of people, and in fact, when we've done surveys for students and people doing assessments, the number one thing that people say is the reason why they struggle to do their assessments isn't because of knowledge or isn't because of lack of information, it's lack of time. So what I really want to focus on with this tutorial is just a few little thoughts on how you can actually maximize your time and perhaps how you could maybe squeeze some extra time out of your day somewhere. So what we've got up on the screen just now is a bit of a template, very simple, certainly something that you could create yourselves very easily. But first of all, you need to understand how we spend our time. So using a sheet like this in an average day, what we recommend doing is keeping track of all of the little tasks that you perform. So for instance, an average day you might say, well, I wake up at 7 o'clock, I have a shower, average length of getting ready for work is 30 minutes. I then walk to the train station, which takes another 15 minutes. I then ride the train into the city, which takes 25 minutes. I walk to work, which takes 15 minutes. I then work for however much time. But in an average day, starting to list down everything that we do, every activity that we do, and how much time that individual activity takes. You can take this to the next level if you're wanting to apply this to your own working day, and you can apply like what's known as a time in motion study, where as you perform a task, you just on a little bit of paper write down what the task was, how long it took you. That can help you identify inefficiencies in your day, or it can help you identify areas where you're maybe cutting down. So for instance, if your photocopy is on the other side of the office and it takes 30 seconds to walk there, 30 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but if you do that activity 10 times a day, it all starts to add up. So we've got the average day. Then we've also got a space for our average week. Now in our average week, this is things that we could maybe do for ourselves. So whether we do sporting events, or we have some study time set aside, or we have a regular class that we attend, or these sort of things as well. But by listing all the things that you do in an average day and all of your average weekly events, it gives you a really good understanding of what it is that takes up your time in an average week. And once we've got that information, we need to work out what it is that we're going to do with it. So what we've got is what's known as a time management matrix, where we've broken it down into 4 separate columns. So we've got the urgent and important section, we've got the important but not urgent section, we have the urgent but not important section, and the not urgent and not important. Now, to give you a little bit more of an idea, I just want to show you a very quick video which will explain this a little bit more detailed.
Before you set your priorities for the next 30 days, I'd like to share with you the most important idea I've ever learned about time management. In the 1920s, a college professor suggested that everything we do in life falls into one of 4 categories. The actions you take are either important, they contribute to your vision, mission, values, objectives, strategies, and high priority goals, or they're not important. The actions you take are either urgent, there is an implication of time pressure, or they're not urgent, there is no time pressure. Quadrant 1 is important and urgent. Your biggest client has a pressing need. The computers crash. You have a deadline-driven project you need to complete. Quadrant 1 items get done. Quadrant 2 items are important and not urgent. Think about it. Everything you do that improves the quality of your work and your life is in Quadrant 2. Improving relationships, personal development, seizing new opportunities, developing and empowering others, problem prevention, preparation, and better planning are all in Quadrant 2. They're important, but they're not urgent. Quadrant 3 is not important, but implies time pressure. There's urgency, and it's deceptive. It may feel like it's important, but it's just urgent. Many emails, phone calls, and meetings are not important. They don't contribute to your vision, mission, values, objectives, strategies, and high priority goals. Quadrant 4, it's waste and excess. Here, there's no time pressure, but you might find yourself lost on the internet doing things that are not important. That's Quadrant 4. Many time wasters and escape activities are in Quadrant 4. The principle is simple and profound. What matters most matters most. So spend more time in Quadrant 2. How do you do that? You plan for it. Your dynamic business growth plan is now leading you and your team to identify important priorities. By setting a priority, you're taking something that is important and making it urgent by identifying a completion date.
Okay, so that basically breaks down into these four categories just here. So you can see we've put a few little ideas in here as well. So we've got in the urgent and important, we've got the crisis, medical emergencies, those sort of things. These are the things, as Stephen Covey says, these are the things that kind of bite. These are the fires that you've got to put out on a daily basis. So this is the urgent stuff that has to be done that day. The problem is that can take up an awful lot of our time, and really where we want to be spending our time is in Quadrant 2, which is the important and not urgent stuff. The reason why we want to be spending our time in here is that it adds towards our own personal development. It actually helps us get towards our goals. And it can actually help us break down our week and break down our activities to think, okay, well, what's actually getting me closer to my career goals? What time am I using? How am I using my time to get me to where I want to go to? We've also got the other two categories down here as well, which is urgent but not important, and not urgent and not important down the bottom just here as well. So the last part of this is working out a SWOT analysis of your time and of your time management. Not having enough time is the number one enemy of us not achieving our goals. It can really get in our way and cause us huge problems. So by knowing what our strengths and our weaknesses are, as well as what our opportunities and our threats are, to achieving our goals and to achieving a balanced time management priorities, it's really a great tool to use. So it's just going to require a little bit of brainstorming and just jotting down in here all the strengths that you've got in terms of your time management, all the weaknesses, what opportunities you have. So could you combine some tasks by completing them whilst you're riding public transport? Could you build up the amount of photocopying you've got to do in a day and do it all in one hit? I don't know. It's going to be individual to each of you. And what are the threats that you have to maintaining and getting on top of your time management? So, guys, I hope this has been useful and given you a little bit of an insight into time management. It's the sort of thing that it does require you just to do, but having a bit of an idea of how to set it out is always going to be a benefit. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to use the forums, or you can contact your trainer through the agreed methods. Until next time, best of luck with your assessments.